Straight ahead on 12 News, what police say is a growing problem.
Your family, your friends are out there riding around these folks.
And a total disregard for other people's safety. Then, what caused numerous adults and children to become ill after eating at a Maple Grove restaurant? Plus, what's in a logo?
We would just want to make sure that current brand is clear and concise.
Robbinsdale area schools consider a branding change. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Renslow.
And I'm Mike Johnson. We begin with a scary afternoon for employees at a Brooklyn Park bank. As we went to air Thursday evening, police were looking for a man who robbed the U.S. Bank on 76th Avenue and West Broadway. Police got the call about 1:40 in the afternoon. Authorities say the robber came into the bank wearing a ski mask. He showed a gun and demanded cash, but they are not sure of his age or hair color. Nobody was injured, and the FBI is investigating.
A popular choice for kids' birthday parties is temporarily closed due to a norovirus outbreak. Chuck E. Cheese's in Maple Grove is being inspected to determine the source of the outbreak. The Hennepin County Health Department reports at least 20 children and adults came down with norovirus symptoms after eating there this past weekend. No one needed hospitalization. Health officials say they aren't aware of any sick employees. They say a customer may have had norovirus and spread it to others. Norovirus causes flu-like symptoms. You can get it from an infected person, contaminated food, or by touching contaminated surfaces. Health officials say the key to avoid getting sick is washing your hands before you eat.
The Robbinsdale School District is trying to revamp its brand.
It's been decades since District 281 has made changes to its logo. Reporter Sonia Goen shows us what's on the drawing board.
It's how people know you. It's what they see, and it's how they identify you.
For more than 30 years, this has been the Robbinsdale School District's symbolic look.
It feels a little 70-ish.
I think the other one has been around for too long of a time, and they need something that's updated.
Last week, officials met to talk about spicing up their symbol.
We would just want to make sure that current brand is clear and concise, and that it represents the world-class education that we're providing for students.
So far, they've agreed on a new tagline: individual focus, infinite potential.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah, that's
individual focus, that's what we need, and all the potential in the world.
But the jury is still out on what the new logo should look like.
So this first finalist is what we affectionately call the RO.
And this is option number 2.
One of our high schools is red and blue, and one's orange and blue, so it also gives a nod to our high schools as well.
So we wanted to know what people thought. Will they go with this new bold version with the block lettering, or this one with the classic R?
That is our favorite. It's modern.
Yeah.
It catches your eye.
I like the colors. It stands out well.
I think I like that better.
Yeah, I like the old one better.
The second option got the thumbs up from this district employee.
I like the design of it better. That one's, the first one looks a little blocky.
But some Cooper High School students are nostalgic.
Yeah.
Old is good.
Yeah, I like the old one better.
You do?
Yeah, it looks
tell
better.
me why.
I don't know, it just looks like cooler, I guess.
No matter the look, Robbinsdale district officials want the public to come away with one message.
And I think our school board and our administration wants people to know that when they come to Robbinsdale area schools that we're focused on each and every individual student.
In New Hope, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The district is doing most of the work in-house, but they did pay a company $25,000 to work on part of the campaign.
At the Capitol, state lawmakers worked late Wednesday to pass a bill making it clear that lawmakers can be arrested for drunken driving during legislative sessions. The Minnesota Constitution says lawmakers have immunity from arrest while in session, but Ryan Winkler of Golden Valley says a Supreme Court ruling probably means a state lawmaker is not above the law for offenses like drunken driving. However, Winkler says legislation is necessary to put lingering doubt to rest, but others call it a knee-jerk reaction.
I think by passing this bill, clarifying what the law is, we resolve that problem for ourselves and we resolve the confusion with the public.
This is just a waste of our time. It doesn't mean anything, and it's just a way for the press to bash us and make us all look bad. And we're making ourselves look bad by sitting here bringing this up and debating it.
The issue gained traction as the result of a lobbying effort by students from Concordia University in St. Paul. Texting and driving has been against the law in Minnesota since 2008, but that has not stopped people from illegally trying to multitask behind the wheel.
The State Patrol says it is a growing problem, and as Delane Cleveland explains, they'll be stepping up enforcement in an effort to prevent distracted driving.
In the not-too-distant past, if you were stopped at a traffic light, there was nothing better to do than just, well, sit there. However, the age of cell phones has changed all that. Only problem is, it's illegal.
Today we're here to talk about distracted driving.
Officials from the Department of Public Safety want to remind people of that fact.
It's illegal for all drivers to text, email, and surf the web while driving. This includes when you're stopped at a traffic light or traffic sign, or you're slowed due to congestion.
But it's a message that hasn't resonated with everyone just yet, and it can lead to dangerous consequences. According to the Minnesota Department of Public Safety, since 2009, more than 86,000 crashes have been caused by distracted driving. That translates to about 25% of all crashes in that time span, which is one big reason why law enforcement plans to crack down with a 10-day campaign starting Friday.
Nearly 400 Minnesota law enforcement agencies will be joining together in this effort to patrol and focus on distracted driving.
To enforce this law,
We're going to go up Highway 55 and we'll go to 494.
they'll be using buses and taller vehicles to help identify drivers who are engaged in the dangerous behavior.
Your family, your friends are out there riding around these folks.
The State Patrol took the media on a 30-minute ride-along Thursday morning to showcase how a higher vantage point can help them spot texting and driving violators.
It's just sad that we have become such a in-touch society that we just can't wait.
Ultimately, this ride-along didn't turn up anyone texting and driving, but law enforcement says that the message stays the same.
The bottom line is that distracted driving is unsafe, it's irresponsible, and just 1 second of not paying attention can have devastating consequences.
In Golden Valley, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
If you get convicted of distracted driving, the fine is about $130.
Concussions continue to be a hot topic in high school sports, and now there's focus on how they impact academics. Brain injury professionals discussed the issue at a conference in Brooklyn Center. In 2011, they supported a law that requires coaches to sideline athletes with concussion symptoms until they are medically cleared.
But the piece that we missed, as did pretty much every other state, was that return to learn and how do we get kids back in the classroom. And so that piece is really, it's certainly coming along now, but it's really the piece that has lagged and I think has caused a lot of frustration for parents and for teachers.
David King says because every brain injury is unique, it presents challenges in creating universal protocols for recovery.
What's more expensive, college or daycare? This may surprise you, but a new report shows daycare has surpassed college costs in Minnesota. The group Child Care Aware found that public tuition for college is about $10,000 on average each year. For daycare, it's nearly $14,000. Daycare also exceeds college costs in 30 other states. In Minnesota, daycare is on the higher end of the cost spectrum compared to other states. Coming up, a standout student from Cooper who can teach a lesson on civil rights.
Then later in sports, the Maple Grove boys golf team gets ready to tee it up for what should be a strong season.
But first, rain in your forecast. Look for showers Friday afternoon and more rain on Saturday. Robbinsdale students took a trip this spring they'll never forget.
They journeyed through the South to learn about civil rights firsthand, and today's standout student had a leadership role in the trip this year. Reporter Shannon Slatton introduces us to Levarn Shelby.
How do I get my problem out of my square?
15-year-old Levarn Shelby looks at his school experience in a unique way.
I like to be a buffet, if you know what that means.
Which means he's a student with many diverse sides.
How do I get a pop-up from my radius?
Besides being a good student,
Levarn, he was in charge of the camera crew.
Levarn was behind the camera.
And so he was able to just capture everything.
Capturing moments from a trip where students went down south to study civil rights.
I really loved it.
Anytime one of the elders would speak, he would be right there, taking all the information in. And that also drew the other students. So it was really inspiring.
They visited historic sites.
It was crazy. Miss Joanne Bland, she was a huge civil rights activist.
And met with people like Joanne Bland, who at the age of 11 was the youngest person put in jail after a civil rights demonstration. Levarn plans to tell others about what he learned as part of a special presentation this spring.
Because people fought for us now to be in school here today, which they couldn't do back in the 60s.
And he plans to keep the dialogue of civil rights flowing in his school and community.
He always speaks up. He's always raising his hand. You know, he's not a shy guy. And although some people look at him and think he's shy, he's really not. He's really powerful. He's really into this information.
In New Hope, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Levarn is also a member of other student leadership groups and is on a drum line. Coming up, a trip that requires a lot of arm muscle and ability to cope with an older brother.
But first in sports, a new adapted softball tournament will honor the man who started the Strong Robins program. John Jacobson has details when we come back.
Well, finally, baseball teams get out and get a couple of games under their belts this year.
Right. Some of the fields already playable, which is nice, and a
Some
little
fields.
unbelievable after the snow we had last Friday. But yes, nice to have a spring return. The Totino-Grace baseball team tied for the North Suburban Conference title a year ago. A talented 2014 Eagles team is aiming for a repeat this spring. The Eagles played at Spring Lake Park Wednesday in a conference and season opener. Top of the first, 2 runners on for Grace. Seth Sewell driving one to the gap in left center field. Brennan Swan is in, and Max Meyer is behind him to score for a quick 2-0 Eagles lead. Next up for Grace, big Tommy Seberg, and how's this for your first at-bat of the season? Gone to center field, a long 2-run shot, and a 4-0 Eagles lead. And they aren't done. Bases loaded. Ben Mazinga delivers a base hit the other way that scores Dominic Whippler and Josh Hartwig. And when the throw to the plate gets away, Alex Halverson comes home on the overthrow. It's a 3-run scoring play and a 7-0 Grace lead after 1. Second inning, Grace's Ryan Ludy singles through the right side, scoring Seberg. The Eagles win big, 17-3 is the final. Grace is at Irondale on Tuesday. At Park Center, the Pirates opened their season with a win. They defeated Osseo 8-0 in the season opener for both teams. Senior Carson Saline struck out 6 in throwing a complete game shutout, while Andrew Gagnon was 2 for 3 with 2 doubles for the Pirates. High school golf teams are getting close to being able to play on local courses. The Maple Grove boys team should have a strong team this spring. The Crimson visited Eagle Lake Golf Course Wednesday to get in some driving, chipping, and putting. After time spent indoors, getting out in the sun made it feel like golf season.
All the hitting indoors throughout the winter, but you know, we get out here and got a couple courses opening up, being able to hit outside. Tryouts coming up soon. It's nice to have the warm weather coming and the golf season just around the corner.
Especially this nice breeze today will help dry some things up, so make the greens more receptive and better conditions to get out and play this week, yeah.
The Crimson won the Northwest Suburban title last spring and just missed out on reaching the state tournament, finishing second to Rogers in Section 5-3A. Standout returners like North Dakota signee Nick Adams, plus Parker Hill and Sam Franklin should make this a very competitive team that's hungry for a section title.
It's been disappointing the last couple years, especially last year when we were so close. And I think this might be our best year ever to get to the state tournament. We definitely want to go as a team if we can.
Oh, I think that we have great potential to be conference champs again this year. We've got some very nice players, you know, starting with our captain, Nick Adams. Real nice player, returning all-conference player for a few years. And, you know, we've got some very, very nice depth.
The Crimson starts tryouts today. They are scheduled to play Monday against Armstrong at Golden Valley Country Club, but that may have to be postponed. They will play in an invitational next Thursday at Bunker Hills. First of its kind adapted softball tournament that honors the man who started the program in Robbinsdale schools is coming up this weekend. The Robbinsdale Robins PI Division adapted softball team is practicing this week as they prepare to host the inaugural Lloyd Olson tournament on Friday and Saturday at Armstrong High School. Olson began the adapted program within District 281 back in 1984 and was one of the driving forces behind adapted athletics in Minnesota.
Lloyd saw the need for sports for students with disabilities in our school district. He worked as an adapted physical education teacher here in the district and thought, you know what, why not? These kids deserve a chance to get out and play as well, and put the team together in '84 and really took off ever since.
Lloyd Olson will be on hand Saturday for the tournament. He retired in 2001. Anoka, Hennepin, Wayzata, Minnetonka, and Rochester are the other teams in the tourney. Play begins Friday afternoon at 5:15 at Armstrong High School, with Robbinsdale playing Anoka, Hennepin. Rochester meets Wayzata, Minnetonka in the second game Friday. 4 games are slated for Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. Nice way to start that tournament. Nice way to honor a guy who got it all started 30 years ago.
It's great that he can be there.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, a trip that requires determination and a very cooperative boss.
We catch up with one half of the brother team who will experience Old Man River and all its glory. Well, if you need a spur-of-the-moment puppy fix, all you have to do is go online. The Maple Grove Animal Rescue Group Good Karma has set up a webcam to show off their 3 newest members. The puppies were born on Monday. Look at that. Mia, the mother pup, was pregnant when Good Karma rescued her from a shelter. Mia and her puppies are healthy and doing well, just very sleepy, as you can imagine. If you'd like to view the webcam, you can visit Good Karma's Facebook page. Well, finally, a Brooklyn Park man and his brother plan to leave Sunday on a trip of a lifetime.
Abe Dix and his brother Nate are planning to canoe the length of the Mississippi River. Both have spent time in the military, and we caught up with Abe as he was painting his canoe camouflage. They were hoping to start at Lake Itasca, but since it's still frozen, they'll likely start farther south in Little Falls. Abe is taking 2 months off work for the trip, and it's something they've been planning over the past year.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip. We keep saying it, and it really is, because how many people you know that have done this or something like this? It's not.
They are calling their journey Old Man River Trip, and here's how they'll survive. For food, it's canned fruit and just add water. Meals. To sleep, they have hammocks and a tent in case it rains. Abe says the biggest challenge is portaging the dams before they reach the lock and dam system in Minneapolis. The journey itself is more than 2,000 miles, and Abe joked that another challenge, of course, is going to be avoiding fights with his brother. By being in a canoe for 2 months, he says that's inevitable, but family, unconditional love, right?
I can hear it now. Who's going to steer?
That's right, exactly. I am.
But that's a great trip. That's the kind of thing I know a lot of people talk about doing, but these guys are going to do it.
They're actually going to do it. That's great.
Well, good for them.
That's all for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner's up next. We'll see you tomorrow.